He said he felt fine, that he was embracing something new, saying yes instead of no, noting how such an approach fit with the theme of a song about updating a former lover with a sense of optimism about life's direction. But his story quickly shifted to the football field, where Travis Kelce stood beneath the powerful lights of Arrowhead Stadium, the roar of the fans crashing in his ears. And for the first time in his long career, he admitted the weight of every moment pressed more heavily than before, because for over 10 years he had been the soul of the Kansas City Chiefs, reshaping the very idea of a tight end, building a reputation that reached far past Kansas City. Yet as the 2025 season began, there was a distinct feeling of finality in the air, with people wondering aloud if the end was near for one of football's most exciting stars. And the season had opened in unprecedented fashion as the Chiefs, constant contenders, began their campaign not in America but in the vibrant heart of Sao Paulo, Brazil, a game meant to be a celebration of the NFL's global expansion, a showcase of its brightest figures. But instead the Chiefs lost 27-21 to the Los Angeles Chargers, a stinging defeat that sparked speculation about whether the magic had disappeared, whether Kelce, now 34 and carrying the bruises of 12 punishing seasons, was near his last act. And inside the Chiefs' locker room the whispers grew louder, with sources telling reporters that Travis had been struggling with thoughts of retirement even before the crushing Super Bowl loss in New Orleans the February before, that night when confetti rained for another team. The lights dimmed in the Superdome, and Kelce lingered on the turf with slumped shoulders and searching eyes, as if trying to find a sign in the stands, aware that the game had given him everything but drained him as well, and Coach Andy Reid, who had long been a guiding figure, urged patience, reminding him not to make decisions in the fog of defeat. But the questions persisted. Could this really be his last ride? And every snap since seemed to carry enormous meaning, each reception, each block, each score serving as a reminder of his legacy in Kansas City, because he was more than an athlete. He was a symbol. The offense flowed through him, his energy contagious, his leadership constant, younger players hanging on his every word, coaches trusting him without hesitation, fans wearing his jersey like a badge. Yet beneath the bravado lay the vulnerability of a body that did not bounce back as before, with bruises that lingered longer, mornings marked by stiffness, the grind weighing heavier. And though he had always spoken honestly about football's toll, he had never before so openly considered leaving, the thought of stepping away from the only life he knew both intimidating and strangely appealing. And beyond the field his personal life was changing with equal intensity, because in August 2025 he proposed to Taylor Swift at Arrowhead in a scene straight out of Hollywood, and the news sent shockwaves through sports and entertainment alike, turning him into one half of a global power couple, social media erupting, paparazzi surrounding his home, every public outing becoming headline material. Yet friends explained that Swift had no desire to be someone pulling strings from the sidelines, that she wanted him to make his own choice, respecting his independence, their connection genuine, their engagement deepening their bond. And despite her massive tours and his demanding NFL calendar, they found a way to balance their relationship, a mixture of spectacle and sincerity, their privacy guarded even as they lived in the spotlight, with rumors of a 2026 wedding expected to merge their worlds in a spectacular way. And another voice guiding him was his brother Jason, who earlier in 2024 had retired from the Philadelphia Eagles after a legendary career and smoothly transitioned into television analysis, receiving widespread praise. And for Travis, watching Jason's seamless move from the gridiron to the studio had been instructive, showing him that competition could continue in another form, inspiring him with the thought that there was still a path beyond football, and broadcasting offers were already pouring in, with Amazon and ESPN reported to be fighting for his signature. The deal's enormous, tempting him to consider avoiding the punishment of another year, but he insisted he would not decide until the season ended, repeating in July that it remained one game at a time, that when it concluded he would know, but for now he owed it to teammates, coaches, and himself to give everything. Subscribe now to stay with the journey. And within the Chiefs organization there was recognition that this could be the final chapter of his era, the front office quietly studying replacements, preparing for life without him. But on the field the focus was on the present. Teammates leaning on him, especially the younger ones who grew up idolizing his style, his work ethic setting the tone, his leadership in the huddle irreplaceable, his days filled with practice, film sessions, recovery, pushing to maximize every minute, while coaches monitored his workload carefully, giving him rest days, ensuring his readiness, the medical staff vigilant with every ache, understanding one hit could change everything, and beyond the game he remained a pillar of Kansas City, beloved for charity work, visible at community events, a model for thousands, his foundation raising millions for at-risk youth, using his platform to create impact that would outlast football, and fans sensed the end was near. Arrowhead selling out each week with crowds desperate to capture one last memory, one more playoff push, one more highlight catch, the tension and anticipation rising higher than ever. And as the season pressed on, the drama grew thicker, questions of whether he would exit after one more run at the Super Bowl or return for another contract hovering unanswered, and even those closest to him admitted they could not predict. And in reflective moments he thought of the highs and lows, the sacrifices endured, the friendships forged, the legacy written, the city that embraced him, the teammates who became brothers, the fans who lifted him into legend, knowing the end would come soon enough, but determined meanwhile to savor the cheers, the embraces, the touchdowns. Beneath the lights, because once over it could never be the same, and with the regular season racing toward its conclusion, all eyes locked on number 87, the question unavoidable whether this was the last sight of Kelce in a Chiefs uniform, whether he would step away with Taylor Swift at his side ready for a new chapter, or whether the hunger for competition and another ring would keep him on the field. Yet whatever his choice, the truth was secure that he had already carved a place in football immortality, his story combining resilience, talent, charm, and heart, reminding all why they love the sport. And as the season unfolded, one persistent question echoed everywhere about what Travis Kelce would decide. So stay tuned and subscribe so you don't miss the ending, because as those closest said, the best chapter might still lie ahead. And for now the world would watch and wait as the final pages of his unforgettable saga played out before their eyes, each moment on the gridiron carrying the heavy sense of history in the making. With the regular season racing toward its conclusion, all eyes locked on number 87, the question unavoidable whether this was the last sight of Kelce in a Chiefs uniform, whether he would step away with Taylor Swift at his side ready for a new chapter, or whether the hunger for competition and another ring would keep him on the field. Yet whatever his choice, the truth was secure that he had already carved a place in football immortality, his story combining resilience, talent, charm, and heart, reminding all why they love the sport. And as the season unfolded, one persistent question echoed everywhere about what Travis Kelce would decide. So stay tuned and subscribe so you don't miss the ending, because as those closest said, the best chapter might still lie ahead. And for now the world would watch and wait as the final pages of his unforgettable saga played out before their eyes,